lightsabers hum, they light up the night. Pete and Nick keep the galaxy bright. From Tatooine sands to Endor trees, they're bringing the news with galactic ease. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door. From Vader's breath to Grogu's charms, theories and chats, they keep us disarmed. Around the galaxy tonight, Chris and Kelsey keeping it tight. They're breaking news like a Death Star blast, taking your calls and reading your chats. The greatest guests and what you need to know. Pete and Nick lead the Star Wars show. ATGLive, we're blasting away, talking Star Wars every Thursday. Interviews, opinions, and all the lore. Hop on the Falcon, they're opening the door.
We're home.
Well, welcome to ATGLive, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. This is why clone troopers are so sad, maybe, because they can't drink anything. Nick, how's it going? How is it going under the mask? What's going on, man? How are you?
It clearly isn't going well, and in traditional stormtrooper fashion, I can't even, hit the target. So much better now that I can see and hear and, drink.
Excellent. Well, Nick, good to see you. We are here once again on a Thursday night for ATGLive, your Star Wars home on Thursday nights for everything Star Wars news, conversation, interviews, guests. I think we're probably going to start doing quilting tips in a couple of weeks as we prepare for.
Why not?
I just don't know what else. But we do have a great show for you tonight. We're joined by Chris Abbott, aka Star Raptor, podcaster, blogger. You know him from his podcast. I want to get it right. It is the Outer Rim Transmission, and so he's going to join us a little bit later, and we're also going to take a spin around the galaxy to look at the news and things that are happening. But Nick, what else is going on? How have you been?
I feel like the answer to how are you been is the follow up to Chris yelling Pete. I'm not going to steal his thunder.
Right. So don't steal his thunder. No.
Yeah, I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm doing well. It's just,
all right.
I love the meme that we've seen recently where it's the thing where people say, how are you doing? And instead of saying living the dream, it's the horrors persist, but so do I. That feels like where we are most of the time.
Yeah.
But I'm doing well. And my gosh, week 2 of Andor. We've got Tales from the Underworld coming up. We've got Visions coming up.
Holy cow!
I hate to oversell what we say all the time, but there's a plethora of Star Wars right now, and it's all wins.
How could we complain about anything between all the and what we're going to talk about tonight? Frickin' Revenge of the Sith is not only in theaters, it's breaking records. It makes very little sense, but I love every second of it. I did want to say, and I was trying to find it. It doesn't look like it's in the shop just yet, but it will be. Hang on one second. Nope, I can't get it to pull up. All right, it's a little tease. I'll have to give it to you all a little bit later. We have a brand new mug and T-shirt. Nick, I don't even know if you saw it.
I did. If you'll pitch the socials and stuff, I'll get it up here for you.
Okay, see if it'll work out. So make sure to follow us on all the social media, wherever you are, whether it's X or Twiddle Twaddle or Facebook or YouTube. It's at the SSW Network. That is where you can find us. That's where you can hang out with us. You can keep up with us on all those channels. Also, you can leave us a voicemail, 504-321-1501. That's 504-321-1501. We'd love to hear from you. Call us during the show, and we'll play it at the end. We don't even know what you're going to say, but we want to hear it. We want to hear what you have to say, and so make sure to do that. I think that's most of it. What's the deal with the hat? Good question. Thank you, Matt. Glad you asked. I go to the Somerset Patriots minor league baseball games, and they apparently last year they had the most original alternate jerseys, and they were the New Jersey Diners. And so this is a little cup of coffee. It's just it's a fun little hat. So
very
Nick,
appropriate. And also, speaking of coffee cups, I tried to pull it up. It might be that you have set a world record for one of our designs getting sniped by copyright, because it shows up, the link says this design is history. So in the short period of time that you have posted that, it appears to not be existing anymore.
All right, well then forget it. I don't care. Screw you guys. So we'll do it again.
Just imagine the best coffee mug you've ever seen in your life. That's
so
what it was.
Good. It was
so good.
That's, I mean, literally
like the most photographed barn in America, but it's the most perfect coffee cup ever made.
That's 20 minutes. But anyway, do this anyway. Go to the SSW Network shop at the sswnetwork.com. Click merchandise. And we do have things like the woke up this morning and watch Star Wars mug. We do have the original show mugs. We have, we have all kinds of stuff. The Tanti Spachka. We've got it all. So make sure to check it out over there at the shop. Nick, let's bring in our good friends who are keeping it tight, as the song says. Kelsey Puckett, our producer, and Chris, Axiom Outpost, Ryan's. Kelsey, how you doing?
Doing all right. Just went full Sith mode. This is how the world is for me right now.
Well, hopefully you're going to feel a little bit better. We're going to by the time this evening's over, you'll either have caught some sort of disease from drinking an action figure in your cup, or you won't care.
Trying to warn you.
One day when the apocalypse happens, Chris Hines is going to be standing at the top of the mountain going, "I told you, idiots," and nobody listened.
Chris, what's up with you, my friend?
Nick.
Oh, he broke it up a little bit.
I got it.
Oh, Rhydonium. I love it.
Yep. Everybody hit a puff of Rhydonium.
If I get a little bit of that, don't get too much. Don't get too much.
I didn't know you did a Saw Gerrera on top of a Lando.
Yeah, no, that was like a great limited fake. Can we get more?
Yeah.
Sure. What do you want me to say?
Yes.
Yes. Now we're talking.
I can do it as much as you need. This is my actual voice.
Oh,
don't
man.
mind doing it.
That is fantastic. You should never have told us you could do this, because I'm going to find it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're gonna be using that.
Well, Nick, I think we've changed months, which means we've changed toasts. What do you got for us, Mike?
We have changed months, and we have changed toasts. And in honor of that, before we introduced what the month of May is going to be, as I was getting, can you hear me?
Yep.
How strange. The screen told me the host has muted my video.
Your video.
As I was getting ready tonight, I was looking at my bar, which is set up behind me, and I was trying to figure out, what am I going to put in my beer for this month's chug? And I realized that over the last few months, I have been collecting all of our victims into this one whiskey glass.
Oh, dear.
So we have Vader and Snoke and Dodonna and Aphral and the Emperor. Everybody, this is where you go at the end of your month. So at the end of this month of May, I'm going to add another one to the collection. They are clean. I wash them every week, my friend.
Do we believe him?
These will pass AFA grading standards.
That was not a confident all right that I said. It was not. I was not confident.
Well, my personal hygiene aside, let's get into what's most important, which is
you, Lloyd. Thank you. Yes.
The month of May.
It's a real good way to get sick, brother.
It is the month of May, and there was we kind of crowdsourced this a little bit, came up with a winner. I believe Chris Ryan's, the one and only, came up with, it is the month of the Millennium Falcon. So that's going to be our toast for the month of May, the Millennium Falcon. You've got your beer, you've got your Falcon, whichever one you're going to use. We're going to pour it up.
Put it in like it's an orange. Like, yeah. No.
On the edge. Here you go. Hold on. I got you. Nope.
It's just too late now. Just put it in. Yeah, just get all the
Don't you hate it when your Falcon's drippy?
Well, I have that Falcon somewhere in my house, but I couldn't find it. And now, since Lent is over and I can drink, I have a Chewie.
I've been waiting for this day.
Chewie's good for Millennium Falcon,
totally
right?
It works.
All right,
So in our Skywalker Ranch pint glass, courtesy of our friend Greg at Fanboy Cantina, we do have our beer poured up. We have our Falcon in, and we're going to raise our Millennium Falcon toast tonight to Star Wars Celebration and also the unity in the Star Wars community. As we mentioned, there is a lot of fun Star Wars happening right now. With Andor being out, like there's some conversations, but there is so much joy and Star Wars love. And anytime we come out of something like Celebration, there's a lot of just reminders of why we're fans, why we love what we love. And I'm going to tell you this just as an add-on. I forgot until earlier today that Light and Magic Season 2 is out. And so I jumped back into that. Right.
Oh, crap.
Holy crap. If you want to see
this weekend.
Yes. If you want to see some things that'll make you happy, watch Light and Magic Season 2, right, where you've got all the folks like Rob Coleman and Dennis Murin talking about making the prequels and the amount of joy and love that went into not only creating these movies, but breaking the technology and creating all these new things that come along. So tonight's Millennium Falcon toast is simply to the love and joy that comes with being a Star Wars fan. Here's to all of you, and happy Millennium Falcon.
She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
I don't even know why I bother. I don't have the skills of Nick Monkey. Do not have the skills. Well, we have a exciting evening coming up for all of you. We'll have our guests as soon as we come back from the break. Got to remind you to check out our Road to Rebellion podcast, where we break down, review, recap the episodes that are coming out week to week. All three of them that week, the moment the show drops. And Nick, this Sunday, you and I are going to make complete asses of ourselves and play Fortnite with my son on.
Yes, and possibly some or all of my children as well.
Possibly some or all of your children. And we will be thanking the Fortnite gods that they're with us, because they will be the only ones who can play. But we are going to be exploring. Look, I'm not there to win. I'm there to explore all the new Star Wars stuff that's going to be coming out this weekend.
The same reason you go to Galaxy's Edge. You're going to Fortnite to run around, find the Millennium Falcon, find the AT-AT that's knocked on its side that you can go buy shit in. It's just fun. It's going to be fun.
It's all we want to do. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be back with Chris Abbott, aka Star Raptor, and we're going to talk about a 20-year-old movie that is back in the theater. So we'll be back in just a moment with more ATG Live.
What's up, my fellow Gen X Star Wars fam? My name is Chris Rhines from Broaxium. You may know me from ATG's Force Connect that I co-hosted with Pete and Nick. Now, I'm the owner and operator of Broaxium Outpost, an online shop for all your action figure and collectibles needs like Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars Vintage Collection, Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series and Vintage Collection, Transformers Studio Series, Star Wars lightsabers and helmets, Masters of the Universe, and much, much more, including Star Wars action. All right, look, I have a lot of Star Wars stuff. I'm just saying. Stop by and check out the store at www.broaxiumoutpost.com. Sign up to become a part of the Bounty Hunters Guild and stay updated on new pre-orders, sales, and exclusive Broaxium content. Find something you like? Use the promo code ATG10 for 10% off your first order. We have Star Wars figures, by the way.
He's got Star Wars figures. He's got G.I. Joe. And I say it every week. And I also say that I say it every week because that's how committed I am to this bit at this point. You're going to buy this stuff anyway. So buy it from Chris. Buy it from our man Chris.
Scout Trooper helmet right over my right shoulder.
There it is.
Broaxium Outpost special, baby. Carson Teva on pre-order. Coming my way. Can't wait.
Can't wait. In fact, I was going through some stuff the other day, and I found some action figure, the George Lucas Stormtrooper, which I got from Chris as well. Yes. Yeah. Well, hey, tonight we have a special guest. We are joined by podcaster, blogger, Star Wars certified nerd, Chris Abbott. Chris hosts the Outer Rim Transmission podcast. He was most recently in Japan for Star Wars Celebration, and he came back to the United States just to watch Revenge of the Sith in theaters in 40X. And how do I know he saw it in 40X? Well, because Chris and I have kind of gone back and forth. We seem to we are in similar circles on Twitter, and it turns out he lives probably about 25 minutes away from me. And he asked me, "Where did you see it in 4DX?" And I told him. So please welcome Chris Abbott to the show. Chris, welcome to ATGLive. How you doing?
Hi, Nick. Hi, Pete. Hey, I'm so happy you guys invited me. Your channel is awesome. I'm just looking at what went down so far, like everything with the cheers and all these cool advertisements for action figures. Like, I feel like I'm not worthy to be on this channel right now. You guys
no.
pros at this. The guests you guys had over all these years, like all this time, right? So it's been a pleasure to be part of this awesome little Star Wars community night. So I'm really, really excited to get into it.
Well, like Nick was saying at the top, and it's really cool that, that's one of the really great things about the Star Wars community when it works right, when things are going, even when they're going to shit, there's always people that you can find online that are of a similar mindset and are willing to get into some of the interesting stuff. But you and I kind of discovered that we, live within a probably half-hour radius somewhere here in New Jersey. And yes, we've been sort of threatening to get together to play some card games and things together on that. We'll definitely do that. But Chris, maybe give us a little bit of your Star Wars journey, your Star Wars story, and tell us a little bit about the content that you create.
For sure, I'd be happy to. So it all goes back. I'm a 90s kid, born in 90. So I was, my inception to the Star Wars fandom was actually the original trilogy on VHS. I was at a neighbor's house, and my first movie I seen, which still is my favorite movie, is Return of the Jedi. I always gravitated to Jabba the Hutt and the different aliens, and of course Luke Skywalker is my favorite character. Favorite color is green. So it was like all that, kind of wrapped up, and then this special editions came out. But it was really like the prequels that really grabbed me. That's the perfect age where I was like on the school ground, pretending I was Anakin and all this, we all know those stories. And the action figures propelled me through all of that. The video games especially propelled me through all of that. And, getting into, we'll get into the Revenge of the Sith stuff later, so I'll hold that for later. But, up until like 2015, I started this channel, youtube.com/StarRaptor, where I just kind of wanted to talk to other fans. It's not, you don't find any other people in my area. Sometimes it's like kind of like, okay, like how much are these other people into Star Wars as much as me? It's hard to find them, right? So I've realized like there's a lot of people online I could have these conversations with, and I just felt like I needed to have some kind of creativity to show people like I love to talk about this stuff too. So I feel like YouTube has been a great avenue for me to kind of live on. And of course, with Twitter, with X, just the different fans around the world. So mainly I've been making content around kind of the canon. I feel like once it was that 2015, 2014 reset, I said, okay, I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to try to keep up with this stuff because I was never a huge like Legends fan necessarily. Not that I don't like the content. I just never really was integrated deeply into that stuff besides some of the video games. So I've just been, what I've been doing now is I do a lot of the comic reviews every week. I also do the podcasts, and I just chat around just different areas of Star Wars with the different releases. And, I get to meet people like you guys. I've since gone, as you mentioned, the Celebration, which is just everybody that's Star Wars fan has to go, because it's just, you can't imagine how good it is until you're there, and just the community and everybody that you meet from around the world. So I've been frequenting a lot of the conventions in the States, like New York Comic-Con, you might see me at. I went to San Diego Comic-Con last year. So I have been, more on other avenues other than YouTube. Also with me and my friend Matthew Neugebauer, he's part of the Star Wars Underworld podcast network. We also do a weekly show over there called the Tractor Beam, where we just basically have like an hour discussion every week talking about the latest release in comics. So that's kind of another little avenue that I've been down. But yeah, as a Star Wars fan, it's like I can't really imagine life without Star Wars, because it's such a it's such a big part of my life. I mean, you look in the background, it's like all this paraphernalia in the background, like we all have. So it's just like it really got me to develop a lot of skills too, right? Like I've always been relatively introverted and relatively a quiet dude for the most part, but like doing this YouTube, meeting Star Wars fans, I was able to moderate my own panel I threw together with some well-established people in the fandom, as well as even authors. Ethan Sachs and Adam Christopher were on this panel for Scoundrels and Bounty Hunters back in London Celebration. So it's taught me skills with integrated into community, with YouTube, with all this other things that, it's helped me grow. Star Wars has actually taught me things inadvertently in a way, which is kind of crazy when I think about it. So that's just a little bit about me.
That's great.
I love that. And I want to hit on a couple of things that you talked about, just because my mind's going in a bunch of different directions. I love that you talked about going to Celebration and having that moment because, and we've talked about this more times than I can count, not even like going to Dragon Con or New York Comic Con or San Diego or somewhere else, but like everyone is there for Star Wars. And for all of the nonsense that we have all experienced online, that we've all seen, it's not there in those moments. And it's so nice to go, and it's like being a kid again. You like swimming? I like swimming. Let's be best friends. Like, we're at Star Wars. Let's be friends. And you get to meet people in line who trade stickers with you, and you get to take pictures because somebody goes, dude, your shirt's amazing. Like the littlest things, it doesn't matter, but that's what community is. And I think that that's that's the core of what Star Wars is for so many of us. I also love that you talk about, the things that it's allowed you to do, to develop skills, to be, to lead panels, to do a different, to speak and to create a channel and create content. Like, we all want things that we can push us and can help us grow. And it's even better when those things are our passion. Like, how special is it that you get the opportunity to go, I love this thing, and it's allowed me to do things that maybe I previously told myself, no, you can't do that. And you can, and you have. And I think that's so fantastic. So, one, congratulations and keep up the good work. That really is a lot of fun. We do want to talk about Revenge of the Sith. Obviously, 20th anniversary screenings last weekend. I am ashamed to say that I'm going to mail my fan card to someone. I did not make it to a screening. It just didn't work out for me in the busyness of having 4 kids and jobs and wife and everything else. Yep, there it is.
That's great.
There it is. Well deserved. That wasn't a setup, by the way. That was legit. Well deserved. But when Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005, it came out with mixed reactions. There was a lot of, as the prequels, we had already been through episode 1, episode 2. People were on a thing I was mentioning at the top of the show, watching Light and Magic. They also get into the tough reactions. They talk a lot to Ahmed Best about what he went through, the reviews. And there's this great thing they talk about going back. Ahmed Best was on the plane with George Lucas flying back from London, I think, from the premiere in London. And Lynn Hale had all the printouts of the reviews, and they were the rough ones. And they were the, stuff about Jar Jar, stuff about whatever. So it was met with mixed reviews, especially for, older fans like Pete and I, who are original trilogy folks, grew up with it as kids. What do you think, in your opinion, why has that perception changed over the course of the last 20 years? And there's a Light and Magic tie-in to that, but I want to throw this to you. First of all, where do you see kind of that change and shift over these last 20 years in the love for this movie?
Oh, yeah. I think the easiest answer to that one is just the generational difference. I don't want to kind of like just make a blanket statement, but I would say a lot of the fans from the original trilogy, a lot of them weren't fans of the prequels. But as I mentioned in my intro, just, as a 90s kid, amped up for these stories, like George Lucas has always said, I made these stories for like 12-year-olds. Right. I was basically that demographic when these movies came out.
Yep.
Now all of us are in our late 20s, 30s. So now we've grown with those movies and have appreciated those movies. And now we're like the people that have the dispensable income and whatnot to like go out and do, what is it, like $40 million it had made in like less than 7 days at this point. So I think it's that generational divide where it's like, okay, now we're getting to people that are my age, you know, integrated into Lucasfilm, and these guys are going to be able to shed their ideas and develop more ideas akin to the prequels, and we're seeing all that. Not only that, but the Clone Wars. I think the Clone Wars did such a great job of, as we know, fleshing out the characters that maybe we didn't get to see enough of, the different ideas, the different themes that George Lucas didn't get to. Him and Filoni were able to build that up. So I think it's just between the generational things and the other media that has since like propped up some of the storylines, I think.
I'll tell you what was so fascinating, and I agree with you 100%. The thing that I found so fascinating watching Light and Magic, and I saw you nodding, I know you've watched it already.
This morning.
I had it on in my office today. I remembered literally halfway through the workday. If anybody from work's watching, I didn't watch it at work. But it hit me. I was like, oh yeah, Light and Magic. And I started it the week it came out, but then I just got distracted. I was like, oh yeah, I've got that. So I put it on while I was doing stuff in my office. And they're going through this stuff with the prequels. And George Lucas says, it was to Rob Coleman, because Rob Coleman and Ahmed Best were the two who took the Jar Jar Binks stuff so personally. And George Lucas's actual quote to them was, in 20 years, people are going to love this. And here we are 20 years later. And we're going, we've had, you know, Ahmed Best, he talks about what he went through and being on the Brooklyn Bridge and all that kind of stuff. But we've seen him have the chance to come out and get his flowers on stage at Celebration, and to get to be in The Mandalorian and to rescue Grogu and have these other Star Wars experiences and feel the love from the fandom. But I honestly was kind of stunned in my tracks, because George Lucas said, yeah, people don't like it. In 20 years, they're going to love this stuff. And I'm going, there we are. And again, we've seen the old letters that were written to the Star Wars fan club in the 80s, the people that hated Return of the Jedi, that wrote letters and did it the old fashioned way. Some of that stuff, you know, to borrow it, it's cyclical and poetic, but it just, like I said, it hit me like a ton of bricks when he said, yeah, 20 years from now, people are going to love it. And I'm going, here we are, $40 million in a theatrical re-release later. He knew what the hell he was talking about. Imagine that.
Do you think, and we talk about this a lot, but do you think that the sequels will have the same response? Part of me thinks it does, but part of me isn't sure, because there's something about the magic of what George did, and I hate to be that guy, but I mean, I love the sequels, I really do. But I wonder, I don't know, because you got to look at that age of will John Boyega be, you know, cheered and Daisy Ridley in 20 years at Star Wars Celebration? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is a very tough question. There's multiple variables that are not exactly the same with the creators and different things like that. I mean, it's like interesting, because like, let me ask you this: do you feel like based on numbers of box office, and most people, they'll say that Force Awakens was a pretty darn good, if not great movie. I think most people will tell you that, even though people, the biggest complaint we all know is like, oh yeah, you know, this is a kind of a rehash of A New Hope. So like that first movie is already, I guess, not that controversial like the Phantom Menace was. So you automatically have that. But then obviously then we get to the most controversial movie ever with like The Last Jedi, and that's where things go haywire. So it's like, will that ever be rectified by some people? I think they're going to drag their feet on that until the day they die, because it's just like the character that they loved and they had this vision for was never able to be what they imagined or something.
And I don't disagree with you. And I think one of the challenges is, like, I think the reason Revenge of the Sith is kicking butt right now, 20 years later, I think even Attack of the Clones, which did not get a theatrical release, which should get one, even though it's not my favorite, I still want to see it again on the big screen, and I think it would do extremely well. I think because there was a particular group of people who it was their Star Wars. It was like you, Chris. That was your Star Wars. And that's not to say that like my son, who who enjoys the sequels, but his Star Wars is Clone Wars and the stuff on Disney Plus. So I feel like Disney Plus may end up stunting the growth, perhaps, of the sequel movies, because I think you just have so much more Star Wars happening. Whereas, I mean, and I think that's another reason why the Clone Wars television show, it took me till it hit Netflix to really watch it. Sure. And I'm really glad I did. And I kicked myself for missing it when it was first on. But I think, you know, that Star Wars was a different type of, you know, it felt to me still a little bit foreign, where now, you know, it's just, there's this whole other pile of Star Wars for these kids to get on, and they can actually say, yeah, I don't love The Last Jedi, or I don't love Rise of Skywalker, but I love Mandalorian and whatever. No 12-year-olds can say they love Andor, by the way. I hate to say that, but it's true. But that's really interesting. Do you think when you look at things like Clone Wars, and did that impact? It certainly impacted my perception of Revenge of the Sith. Did it change yours, or were you you were just a fan of that movie anyway?
It was interesting you say that, because real quick little journey I had with Revenge of the Sith was, I was about 15 or going on 50 when that movie came out, and for whatever reason I was like that jaded fan. I couldn't believe it, but like at that point I was on my way out of Star Wars. I was like, oh, I'm going to high school. I feel like Star Wars beyond me at this point. Yep. I went to Kmart, you know, when they existed, and I bought a single figure. Yeah. And the figure was a Tarful figure. I don't know why I picked him out of all the other figures, but I vividly remember, like, my fandom was at a decline because that was the only Revenge of the Sith figure I ever bought. It was crazy. I was like, at this point in time, I actually remember the Revenge of the Sith video game more than I remember like my experience in the movie. Like, I don't even remember watching the movie in the theater. I know I did, but like, that's how much of like, I was sort of 1 foot out of the fandom at that point. So it wasn't until like way later that I really started to like enjoy that movie quite a bit. Obviously, I liked the big moment, like the Mustafar duel, obviously, but there's different things there. I just kind of fell off. So for me, it's like, it's kind of hard to answer that, because it's like part of me was not totally in it at the time. But after watching Clone Wars, all these different fleshing out of Anakin and Obi-Wan and Padme did obviously retroactively help. I never had a problem with the movie necessarily. I enjoyed the movie, but it was just something that was it was just a weird time in my life, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, that's
no doubt. Well, and so let me ask you this. You've talked before about the impact of social media and fandom and culture, and kind of how those, and we've all seen it. We've all seen the bad parts of social media. We've seen all that kind of stuff. How much do you feel like online communities, and maybe what I'll paint it against is talking about, you know, when you were 15, when this movie came out, when the prequels came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, social media, of course, was not remotely what it is now. So our exposure was different to what we see, what we consumed, and how it was reviewed even. Now everybody has a platform to yell, be loud, you know, that thing. So my question is not necessarily how do you feel like social media has impacted the negativity of it all, but here we are 20 years later. Do you feel like social media has actually had a positive impact on these re-releases? We got Phantom Menace last year at this time. We got Revenge of the Sith this year. Do you feel like there's actually an upside to how some of that nostalgia has been fed by people being able to connect over it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for this particular, I've seen nothing, at least on my end of the spectrum. Maybe I have the great algorithm here on my side, but I've seen nothing but positivity of everybody going, I'm in the theater, I'm seeing all the pictures. And I think that's getting other people to wake up and be like, oh, wait, this movie's out. I'm going to go see it. Like, I've seen so many people that have shown up in the theater on my own like little friends feeds and all that. I forgot that they're like Star Wars fans. Like they're actually just like, they're casual, you know, general audience kind of people, and they're going out and seeing it. So it's like, it's doing its job. But yeah, I think it's just getting out there. Like even me, I posted this video. It's not even really viral, but it's a not a video, a tweet from back in the day when they released the Clone Wars season 7, and there was all those intercut kind of moments between the movie with like Mace Windu talking and all that sort of things. I went through the rigors of going through like the Bad Batch and like sequencing like different things to watch in what order, and I put it on Twitter. I posted that tweet, and to this day I still get like random likes on that tweet from like however many years ago that thing was, and that just shows me like, wow, people really love Revenge of the Sith. If that's just like a kind of like a little window into that kind of fandom through social media, I'm like, yeah, that's my calling card for some of the people that they made this little post and little timestamps. You got to watch this, put this in, blah, blah. People are like, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. Obviously Revenge of the Sith, I feel like unanimously is the most liked movie out of the prequels. Just from an action standpoint, a plot standpoint, people love, say what you will, but people love the dark, edgy stuff. And that is all that Revenge of the Sith is for those people. They love that. So just through osmosis, I think a lot of people online right now are just enjoying it. They're enjoying seeing, at least on the weekends, there's people, I guess the 501st might have been in full force at some of the local theaters that they're by, and that gets people to be like, oh, look at Star Wars, so it's alive and well. It's alive and well.
I love it.
Well, that's great. Well, cool. Well, hey, speaking of alive and well, we want to keep you around. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a little spin around the galaxy. We're going to talk about some things happening in Star Wars now. Get your thoughts. Get Chris Ryan's thoughts. We're going to have double Chris's on the screen. Me, Nick, and Kelsey's going to run that for us. But we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go around the galaxy. This is ATG Live. Well, welcome back to ATG Live, your Thursday night home for all things Star Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Pete Fletcher, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Nick Milkey, and tonight our special guest, Chris Abbott. Last week we tried a little something. We got nothing but great feedback for this sort of thing. So from the people that we love, you, our fans, as you were hanging out. And by the way, if you were hanging out, make sure to hit like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, tell a family member, buy a billboard. That would be cool. But
send us a picture if you do. But yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, take a picture, and I'll send you a sticker. That's all I can do at this point.
Even trade.
I think it is. I mean, it works for me. But in tribute to one of our favorite shows of all time and to our good friend Clinton Yates, let's turn it over to our producer, Kelsey Puckett, as we take a spin around the galaxy. Around the galaxy. It's the first time we've done this, so I don't want to hear it from anybody. How's it going, Kelsey? How's it going, Chris? How's it going, everybody?
It wouldn't be charming if it went completely according to plan. So
right, it's one thing to have something cool and fun to do. It's another to do it right. And I think that's what we're always working to. We're striving. But you know what? Hey, as I said, this is the first time we've done this with our new setup. And we're excited to be playing along, playing a little bit of of Around the Galaxy, Around
I
the
mean,
Horn.
as a
sort of.
producer, I cannot complain about that comedic timing, like how just like poorly like just executed all of this is. It's great.
I call it charming.
Yes, we're glad you're here.
Well, so for those of you that are not familiar with Around the Galaxy, this is our take on Around the Horn, which is the ESPN show where they have experts on. They throw them some questions. The producer, Kelsey, keeps points. And just like Whose Line Is It Anyway, there's points given out, but the points don't matter. It's just a matter of who Kelsey wants to win this week, I guess is what happens. And or unless one of us makes a complete
if
asshole.
I like you or not, you know, like
yeah, no,
yeah.
I feel like I'm starting out with negative points here somehow. So
well, you know what? Like, I mean, you did start off like just dissing me right off the bat, like last week, so it's fine.
I didn't mean to diss you. All right, so I'm going to zero out our points here. Here we go. Let me see what I can do here. Zero out mine, although starting with 13 is not going to help me probably.
All good. Well, I can go ahead and like start throwing the first question out. Just
go for
because,
it.
Like, I mean, for the normies who haven't seen the whole show, like, I mean, you guys made it pretty obvious last week that you're very cool and have seen everything. But with Andor, as an audience, we just got introduced to a new Bail Organa. Like, I guess I'll go first to Nick. Like, what are your thoughts on Benjamin Bratt as Bail Organa?
So I had a moment. I'll be honest. I had a moment where I hesitated, and because I love Jimmy Smits. I love Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa. I love Jimmy Smits, who eventually becomes President Matthew Santos in The West Wing. Matt, there you go. It's right there.
Drink on that one, Matt.
Yeah, drink on that one. Yeah, Matthew Santos, Jimmy Smits. I do love him as an actor. I think he's been in a bunch of great stuff, and it's that kind of associated, like, yeah, that's who in your mind you believe, you know, Bail Organa to be. But I will say, after I got over that initial moment where I went, oh wait, it didn't trip me up. It didn't catch me out. I love, and I just knowing what we had, I'm excited for what everybody else is going to get to see, you know, in the continuation in the second half of the second season of Andor. I'm totally fine with it, and I think it's a great choice. I heard that it was nothing but scheduling conflicts. It wasn't anything, you know, oh, he had a problem and they had to get rid of him. That's fine. And I love that they said, let's just keep the story going and not try to fool with computer and all that kind of nonsense. So I'm good with it. Yeah, they didn't target it.
All right. What about you, Chris?
This one.
Yeah, I was like, there's multiple Chris's.
Yeah, when I heard the news, I went, oh, okay. Because Benjamin Bratt is like, he's been a favorite of mine since one of his early movies called Blood In, Blood Out, this East Los Angeles drama. It's amazing. So yeah, when I heard he was taking his spot, I didn't know why. I was just like, okay, all right, he's taking the spot. Something must have came up or whatever, and I was cool with it. And it's Benjamin Bratt. You if you're going to pick someone else to play Bail Organa, it doesn't get any better. So yeah, I'm all about it.
All right, other Chris.
All
right. Yeah. So, I mean, part of me was like, I watched this episode really early in the morning, and I'm still like kind of jet lagged crazy enough like a week later. So I'm like, part of me was like, wait, what's happening here? There's something off here. Like, I got to identify with, like, I know it's a darker scene. And then I was like, oh yes, this is a new actor. I'm not familiar with the actor at all. But what I will say, I was like, okay, they're going to introduce him here. It would make no sense to do this and not have him show up again. So I guess this is just their way of like, okay, let's do a quick scene to get people okay with this. And then maybe later on, we'll see. I'm sure we're going to see him at some point. But as far as, it's either this or it's the CG. And I think this is going to be the way to go. For whatever reason, even though I mentioned I don't like read any of the Legends stuff too much, for whatever reason, it feels like this could have been like a Legends version of of him on a cover from some book from like the 90s. That's why I looked at him like, this kind of he fits an Alderaanian, whatever that means. It just looks very, very regal in the way, and I thought it was a pretty good scene, even though it's like I was thrown off. So I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully more of him soon.
Mm-hmm. All right, Pete, you want to round us out?
Sure. Yeah. So there are 3 actors that I used to get. I could have switched them up one for the next. You had Jimmy Smits, you had Benjamin Bratt, and you had Lou Diamond Phillips. You could have taken either one of those 3 guys and put them in the same exact role. And so I don't know what that looks for, Chris, but I feel like it was a bad choice of thought. However, that being said, I feel like Benjamin Bratt is the perfect person to replace him. Although interestingly, he's only like 7 years younger than Jimmy Smits. So, it wasn't an age thing. And Chris, what you said, what you said is exactly what we said on Road to Rebellion. Is there's got to be a reason why they switched him. You don't just do that for one scene. So we'll see what ends up happening. I have no problem with it. I think recasting is great, and as cool as I thought the Tarkin was in Rogue One is as uncool as I thought the Princess Leia was in Rogue One. So let's just bring in new actors.
Yeah. And I will just throw in as a tag, I love that Tony Gilroy in an interview said that the initial tease that you get of Benjamin Bratt, and this is out already, this isn't spoiler or anything, it's in one of his interviews, you get the initial tease in the 1 arc so that you can get, that we as fans can get over it, so that when Benjamin Bratt shows up some more in the show, we're not still obsessed with it. Like he literally said, we planted the seed because we want people to be prepared for the fact that, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah. And I love that kind of thought went into it because they know how Star Wars fans are. So I thought it was great.
Can I add a little bit onto that?
Go ahead.
One thing I think fans need to do is kind of get over the act, like put that faith in the character, put that love into the character, and the actor's second. Mm-hmm. Because as long as he serves the character and he fills that role well, what's the problem? I'm still waiting for
Han Solo recast anyone? Same thing.
I'm still waiting for Sebastian Stan to play Luke Skywalker. Like,
Solo,
what are we waiting
too.
for? Yeah.
Nice.
To be fair, like the Solo recast had to be good.
Yeah.
I thought it worked, but it's literally the same thing for me. It's the same thing. 5 minutes in, I didn't think twice about it. Same thing with this Benjamin Bratt. Like, oh, wait, that's Organa. Okay, cool. Let's roll. Like, for me personally, it worked. It was about, like Chris said, it was about the character, not the actor.
All right. So another story that came out of Celebration was like that we're going to get a little bit more Maul. And Chris, since you're on the screen right now, do you feel like there's more Maul like storyline to like be told?
Yeah. We need to know how Crimson Dawn came to be. We need to know what happened, why he was left on Malachor 5. Roger. There's so many different areas of his life post the Clone Wars that need to be seen, that need to be sewn up. Even some of his stuff after Phantom Menace, and like his whole descent into madness. Like, we see the end product, but we don't see how it happened. We don't see that full descent. So yeah, there's so many more stories that can be told. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Pete, I see you nodding. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to take a risk here. I love Darth Maul. I have him tattooed on my arm here. I have him sitting right here next to me in the studio. But I don't know if I want to know more about him. I mean,
well, then don't watch it, Pete.
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to love it, I'm sure. But I don't know. Like, I feel like we're going back to the well. I feel like this is what we've been doing a lot in Star Wars. That being said, I mean, Rogue One, you could say, was the same sort of a story that do you need it? No, but do you love it? Absolutely. I don't know. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be there day one. I just don't know if I need this story.
They said the same thing about Cassian Andor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like we're literally like watching Andor right now. You have Maul tattooed on you, and you're saying, "I'm not sure I want more." Like, I preemptively gave you points, and now I'm like, do I subtract all 7 of them? Like, my God, like it's just bad opinions all over. Let's go to the other smart half of this, Nick.
Well, Pete's just talking a bunch of nonsense, and everybody watching the show realizes that, because Darth Maul is one of those electrifying characters that it doesn't matter what's going on, whether it's Rebels, Clone Wars, the tag in Solo, and the hologram. People want to see that. People are confused. Wait, didn't he get cut in half? I don't care. Put it on the screen. I'll watch it, because it's like, and this isn't a hot take. This is just the dumb connection I'm making in the moment. Darth Maul is the prequels version of Boba Fett. Cool. People are attracted to him because he's cool. And whoa, I want more of that. I don't know why, but I want more. And people will consume it. And people who even like Pete have Darth Maul tattooed on their body permanently for the rest of eternity are going to say, it's not like we're going back to this well again, which is what Pete said. He's wrong.
Wow.
It is the opportunity to take a character, because I didn't super care about Maul until Rebels, but that arc in Rebels with Ezra and the showdown with Obi-Wan, that was the part where I went, this is a single focused, all it is about Kenobi. And that hit for me. And then to get the follow-up to that in Clone Wars Season 7 was just icing on the cake. Like every bit of that. Yeah, come on. Bring me the Maul. Let's go. I'll smoke a pack of Mauls.
Chris Abbott.
All right. So, well, first of all, I got to mention this. I don't know why Lucasfilm didn't release the trailer online, because I think if you've seen that trailer, Pete, you would be singing a different tune, because they showed us that twice. It was so good. They showed it. Sam Witwer came out, and the room was dark, and the red lights came on right above Sam Witwer, and he says, "Roll it again," or whatever, and the room goes crazy. It was just absolutely everything you would imagine as awesomeness. But the way I look at this is, I look at this from a lens of Andor. I feel like, yes, the show's gonna be focused on Maul, but I think it's gonna be, hopefully, at this way, more focused on the underworld in general. I think the underworld is one of my favorite things about Star Wars in general. Like I said, I grew up with the criminals, Jabba's palace, all that stuff. I love that stuff. Boba Fett, bounty hunters. I think this is our avenue into that. This is a very fertile ground for the ne'er-do-wells and the underworld to exist when the Empire is building power, and there's this pocket of power, and they're able to kind of weave their way in. Plus, Kira, right? Like, there's this whole storyline with Kira, Dryden Voss. Like, I don't know how far and how long they're going to push this series into the timeline, but there's actual possibility that this might even go into like a Solo kind of timeline or something that might actually be able to carry the stories past that way. Like, they're teasing, they're teasing characters that might even be like a red-skinned Twi'lek, for those of you that know the character of Talon. Like, there might be implications that would push this story into like further future storylines implicated. So this is going to be huge. Then. There you go.
Chris Ryans, bring us home.
Oh, I already said my piece on this.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris went first.
All right. Okay. Well, then you're gonna get the. All right. Fine. Then.
All right, so I'll end it off with. Yeah.
Pete's wrong.
Pete is wrong. My namesake is absolutely correct.
All
And
right.
so much more story to be told.
I see. Okay. Well, then you're gonna get my first question on this one. So Star Wars is coming back. In Fortnite, how do you feel like this does or does not make sense?
It makes sense. I'm not playing it.
My goodness.
It makes sense. I am not I've tried. I get lost in that game. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I was like, I'm done. But I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this whole thing, because it's Star Wars and I need need my fix. So, yeah, I will not be playing it.
All right, fine, Pete.
I suck at Fortnite. Every time my son asks me to play it, I play it for about 10 minutes. I'm like, you know what? That was fun, but no, enough for me. But Nick and I are going to play it with him and his kids this Sunday. A little plug for the show Sunday. But I think from a business perspective, it absolutely 100% makes sense. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to get that. And the weird thing about Fortnite is it's been around what, like 10 years? And it just keeps cycling people through. Yeah, it's going down a little bit, but it's like it just keeps cycling people through. They keep playing it. So you want to get Star Wars in front of the next generation, you got to put it where they are. I feel like, Chris, you and I have spoken about this, where they're not playing with action figures anymore. The action figures are for the people on the screen here. They're not. They're going to play Star Wars like we played Star Wars with action figures in Fortnite. So yeah, do it. Let's have some fun with it. And you know what, Chris? It's not for you and me. It's for them.
It is not for me, sir. I tried.
I'm very worried to even like throw it to like another like person here. I'm like, let's go like another old guy, Nick.
This is so effing exciting. Like, here's the thing.
Yeah, Nick
I do. I play this game most every night when everybody in my house goes to bed. This is my time to check out, put a show on my phone in one earbud, and zone out. I don't play build. I'm zero build because I'm old and I can't handle that build nonsense. But this is run around 1 versus 100. Just take people out, and it's not gory. It's fun. It's right, and you get to do it as characters. And here's the thing: Fortnite has Marvel. They have Sabrina Carpenter is in this game right now. You can run around as Sabrina Carpenter, Billie Eilish, Marvel characters, anime characters, Star Wars coming up. The biggest regret I have about Fortnite in my entire life is that I missed when Indiana Jones was in the game. It was a one-time thing. I don't have Indiana Jones, but I have like 10 or 12 Star Wars skins. There's new ones that are going to drop tomorrow when everything happens. It's so much fun. But here's where I think it is as far as just to bring it back to kind of the question, does it make sense? It's happened other times. The nonsense about Rise of Skywalker and the audio transmission that was a part, in the game. I wasn't playing it then. It wasn't really a thing. But here's what it is. We have talked to multiple guests on our podcast, Pete, between Around the Galaxy, some of the folks who have been on ATGLive or different versions of this, where, like you said, their introduction to Star Wars, Claire Stribling, her introduction to Star Wars was action figures, her brother's action figures. It wasn't seeing a movie. It was playing action figures and then figuring out what do these go with. We've talked to people whose introduction to Star Wars were video games. So exactly like you said, if Jack, his whole thing is the Clone Wars cartoons and being able to play it as Fortnite, that's awesome. That opens the door and it makes the table bigger because guess what? There's a seat at this table for everybody.
Roger.
Amen.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. Other Chris, you got anything on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is the one time a year I play Fortnite. Basically, every May the 4th, they have some event, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. When these servers go up tomorrow, I will be on the game playing. When it comes to this year specifically, I've been keeping an eye on this. It is going to be big. Like they actually are introducing X-Wings and TIE fighters. Every time you get a new Star Wars game announced, like Zero Company, for instance, you go into comment sections, Battlefront 3, like everybody's just like Battlefront 3. I'm like, guys, chill. This game's going to be great. Yeah, but Fortnite is basically Battlefront 3 now. Like when they have X-Wings and TIE fighters and Star Destroyers and you can pilot these things, this is what everybody has been wanting the whole time. People, you get the different skins, and that's another thing. Like Nick, I have all these skins. I don't even really play Fortnite. I have Luke Skywalker skin. I have a Black Chrysanthemum skin, and he's playing drums on the rock band mode. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
You drop in $20 like it's nothing. Yep.
Yes. They added, this is just another great addition. They added what they call kicks a few months back where you can get shoes like Nike shoes and whatever. Yeah. So I have a pair of Air Jordan 1s that I can put on my Anakin Skywalker character to run around and play. It's the best thing ever because I'm an 80s kid and Jordan 1s on Anakin Skywalker. it's nothing but wins, baby. Like for this.
It's cool. I did have I had the samurai Vader for my skin, and I went into the world wherever, I don't know, and I laid on the ground, and I was like,
boom, shot in the head.
All right, nobody's all right, and then and I got shot, and then I respawned, and then I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? I go in here. I'm gonna let's go in here. Samurai Vader. I don't know what I'm doing. I am confused, and then I quit.
We're gonna have to get Chris to jump in with us on Sunday and run around and help us.
Yeah, he'll make me look like I know what I'm doing. So,
all right. Well, since he's being roasted right now, I'm just gonna keep him on the hook, Chris. So Rosario Dawson posted her first set pick from Ahsoka season 2. What are you most looking forward to when it comes to her reprising the role?
Darth Maul.
I am. He's long gone by now. Pete. All right. I'm just looking forward to all of it. Just it's one big huge yes. There is Anakin's full story that I'm looking forward to. It's seeing what's going down with the Mortis gods that I'm looking forward to. I think the most in this coming series. Like, what's Ahsoka's fate going to be? Is she going to become the light side Mortis god, where Anakin becomes the father and Baylan becomes the son? There's so many possibilities for this story where it's going. I'm so glad it's continuing. Now I'm hyped to see. I'm so hyped for this story. Let's criff and go. Can't wait.
Roger. What about you, Pete?
I mean, the Ahsoka series was one of the series, when I list them, it's always at the top for me, just because I thought Rosario was great. I don't know exactly what I'm looking forward to. I think, hearing Dave Filoni say that there's going to be a massive space battle with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Just give me that. I'll take that. That would be fine with me. I think Roger. I'm excited because it's a Filoni story. And lately, Filoni's been taking some flack online. People who just don't, you can't compare the Filoni stories to the Gilroy stories. They're in the same universe, but they're different types of stories. But yeah, I'm excited to see just where they take this. I'm a huge fan of Ahsoka as a character, and I want to see happy Ahsoka now, right? Because we find that she made that change to Ahsoka the White, and let's bring her around and let's see what happens in this in Peridia.
What about you, Nick?
Everything that Pete and Chris have both said, tick for me, but I'm going to go with Rory McCann as Baylan Skoll. I am so on board for that. I didn't know I would be on board for that, and I love Rory McCann, certainly as the Hound in Game of Thrones. One of my favorite characters by the time Game of Thrones was over with was the Hound, just the acting, everything about that. When Ray, what's his name?
Stevenson.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ray Stevenson. When Ray Stevenson died, then, that was sad because that character, even in the show, like immediately gravitas and weight and importance. And I was just like, I'm interested in what this story is. And, Thrawn is awesome. Ahsoka is awesome. The Rebels reunion is awesome. But there was something about Baylan that hit on a different level that I was really excited about. So when we found out he died, the question, of course, was what's going to happen. I didn't know that I wanted it to be Rory McCann, but as soon as they announced it, like the wheels just started spinning. And then you see that one production pick and you're like, okay, good. So let's keep it going. Very excited about that.
And Chris Abbott, do you have any final thoughts on this for us?
Oh, I certainly do. Just the planet of Peridia. Filoni was talking about the set celebration. The fact that he's literally getting to play with characters in another galaxy leads him with more danger and more kind of bold choices that he's able to make that don't necessarily affect other storylines in another galaxy. So I'm very excited to see him be kind of go unchained and see what kind of shenanigans he could do. For instance, Anakin Skywalker, what's to say that he doesn't become corporate, actually physical somehow because of the craziness of that planet. Somehow maybe he becomes back in person somehow. But then you also go to the other galaxy, and when we seen that trailer, it was a really cool trailer, by the way. Filoni didn't come empty-handed. He came and he was like, hey, I know we didn't shoot yet, but here's a bunch of concept art that I basically put into a 2-minute trailer with music and like an old like 50s radio host voice narrating over all this stuff. And what I remember from that was saying, like, this is an epic season. If they're going to have battles on both sides, as we've seen Thrawn, we heard about Thrawn, Admiral Akbar versus Thrawn. Gonna be absolutely nuts. You're gonna see, hopefully, like the undead. I want to see what happens with Dathomir. I want to see if the Night Sisters come into play with this, Dark Trooper army or Death Trooper army. So there's so much really cool stuff from just like that perspective, but then also like the metaphysical Force stuff, obviously, as we mentioned with the Mortis stuff. So there's really a lot more stuff for me to be hyped for this season for sure.
Cool.
Well, like looking at the end of the round, and our winner is Nick. Do you want to go ahead and take your victory lap?
Oh, yes, I do. Victory lap indeed. Here's my victory lap. Star Wars is for everybody. Star Wars is for fun. Star Wars is to bring you joy. If it doesn't bring you joy, go away. Go do something else. Go to Lord of the Rings. Go to Super Mario Brothers. Go find the thing that makes you happy, because if Star Wars isn't it, that's okay. It doesn't have to. It makes me happy. That's right. And if you don't like the way it's done, go make your own thing. Otherwise, have fun. There's so much good Star Wars going on. There's so much good Star Wars coming down the line. And we're really lucky. And guess what? We get it kind of for free. Yeah, you pay for Disney Plus. Yeah, you pay to go to the movie theater. Yeah, you pay to order stuff from broaxiomoutpost.com, which you should be doing using the code ATGGen. Is that right, Chris? Whatever the code is, use the code, people. Star Wars is for fun. Have fun with it. Help Chris. Star Wars is for fun. Enjoy it. Have fun with it, because we sure do every week right here on this channel.
That is awesome, Nick.
Hey, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
How did Nick win? Well,
Hey,
was my answer not good enough?
Decide the points.
In the words of John Madden, at the end of the game, the team with the most points wins.
Yes. I agreed the most with Nick tonight. I'm sorry.
I see.
Well, Chris, since I have you in the middle, what's happening in Broaxium? What is what's the hot items? What should people be checking out this week on the website, Broaxium?
Everything. Everything that's on there.
Pre-order all the things.
We got pre-orders. Got a couple pre-orders left for the Carson Teva figure.
Nice.
Of course, Agent Callus vintage collection as well. Whole bunch of new Star Wars figures coming out. I still have these special curated sets of Black Series figures, like for the Empire, the Rebellion, the Women of Star Wars, for Mandalore, all these different themed ones. And my favorite, which is it's a 2-pack. Which is really the Star Wars acting masterclass, I call it, but it's called The Price of Freedom, and it is a Saw Gerrera and a Luthen Rail 2-pack.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, got some good stuff there. So yeah, definitely come check us out. And then this weekend I have I'll be at the Neshaminy Brewing Company for their annual May the 4th event. I'll have a vending table there, giving out maybe some free comics as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a band there called Galactic Empire that's going to be coming through.
Oh, they're great.
Be there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, that's great. It's good to know. Excellent to know. Chris, where can people find you and keep up with the stuff you're up to?
Yeah, certainly. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. This was an absolute blast. I love the format. I love just the game show vibe, but also the really fun, thought-provoking questions that we went through tonight. This is a really good time, so loved it. Nice. You can find me on youtube.com/StarRaptor, where I post like those comic book videos and like you had mentioned my podcast, Outer Rim Transmission. We go live every Sunday around 7 p.m. Eastern. As everybody else in the world, we're reviewing Andor, as you could expect, and trying to float with all the Star Wars content, animated series coming out at the same time as documentaries and everything else in between. So, yes, and if you find me on X, Twitter, also at Star Wars, talking about video games and different things like that as well.
Awesome. Well, good. Well, Chris, it was nice to finally be able to speak to you as opposed to tapping on with my thumbs to speak to you. It's been great to have you here. And for those of you who are fans of the network, make sure to keep up with us on the sswnetwork.com or where you can get all the news of the week. That we're still posting those news stories as they go. We also, of course, have Road to Rebellion, which is our 1 hour. Well, when we did the last episode, I think it's maybe a little bit longer, but it's our deep dive into the show and what's been going on there. And of course, Sunday night, don't forget to join, or Sunday afternoon, Nick, myself, and our children as we get our asses kicked by 8-year-olds in foreign countries playing Fortnite. With us and just gotta hope for the best, I suppose. Make sure to join us. Well, I think on that note, I think we will see you all next week. Nick, next week we have Brandon Wynerdy joining us, and we're going to be talking
our good
about
friend Brandon Wynerdy from Talking Bay 94.
Yep.
He was at Star Wars Celebration, also hosted a panel, so he's going to bring us some celebration news. And then also, as we have been doing the last few weeks, we are excited to continue this new kind of around the galaxy, around the horn news and conversation format, which has been so much fun. So Brandon from Talking Bay 94 will be here next week.
Awesome. Well, Chris Abbott, thank you for joining us. Chris Ryans and Kelsey Puckett, thank you for keeping Nick and I in line somewhat. And Nick, may the force be with you.
Always.
Just one more round, friend, then homeward bound, friend. Don't forget me in your dreams. Just one more song, friend, and then so long, friend. The nights get shorter, it seems. Just one more rhyme, friend. Yes, it's a crime, friend. But you know time, friend. Time can fly. So it's good night, friend. Good night, but not goodbye.